What's up, guys? Hook here. I've been wanting to do this video for a little while. Basically, I'm going to be rebuilding my sim pit sometime in the near future, and I thought I'd just kind of post what I use for my current setup. A lot of it will be repurposed, of course, and also just get a video before this pit's redone, just so you guys can see what I fly with week to week. So, main purpose of this is you guys can see some of the equipment I use for different things. Maybe gives you an idea for something to add to your pit or whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of crazy looking, right? So we've got obviously a driving pit on the right and a flying pit on the left. So how does this whole thing work? Well, we'll just start with the basics. So we've got three 40-inch monitors here. They're all connected to the main PC that runs down there. And what's cool about this is I put them on a triple screen deck that can be moved really easily. So I fly DCS or flight sims pretty much exclusively in VR, but I still use triple screen for racing sims. So it was kind of more natural to position these screens in front of my racing cockpit. That being said, I can move them to use for the flying pit as well. It's a little bit of an ordeal. Normally I just turn that left screen to where I can see it with the flying pit. So we'll take a look at my amateur built racing pit here. I know it's a little messy. I'm actually repairing my handbrake. I think the insane amount of vibrations that goes through my pit blew it out. So got the parts, just fixing it. But we'll climb in here real quick. So we've got a Thrustmaster force feedback wheel. What's cool about this is removable, and I have other rims that can swap onto there. Sim racing and sim aviation are my two kind of passions here. Definitely a little better at sim aviation than racing, sadly. So that's one of the rims. And then there's another one, just a standard rim. This one I made out of a real wheel. And I put the adapter plate on. And it's pretty quick change. You just unwind it and swap it out. We've got the Thrustmaster Pro pedals down there. Clutch brake accelerator. We have the T300 RS shifter, I think. Really cool. Like it a lot. It's a great shifter. And then a little eBay cheapo handbrake. Of course it broke. I'm repairing it. It's actually a real vehicle handbrake that has a Hall effect magnometer. That'd be the word for it. That's what went bad. Just some circuitry failure. So I have to pretty much do like metal fatigue inspections in the sim pit, just like you would in an aircraft. And I'll explain why in a second. And then I have a sequential shifter. This is made by a fellow in Russia. I can't remember his name, but man, it's great. I think that this is worth every bit as much as some of the really high-end like Thrustmaster sequential shifters that are like $600. That thing kicks butt. So if you're into sim racing, check it out. I'll try to get the information for it and update it in the link. I think that covers the sim pit. Seats adjustable, obviously ripped out of I think it was a Ford Mustang. Audio is big. I love audio. So I have a hard mounted subwoofer here and then speakers dedicated to this pit. So when it's running, I mean, the vibrations, the feeling of the road, everything comes right through the seat and you can feel it. So that adds a lot to the experience. Like I said, usually do VR, sometimes triple screen, kind of 50-50 on that. Moving over to the sim pit, I've been flying on this one for years. So it's certainly not the prettiest thing in the world. I'm no carpenter, but it does have some pretty cool features. So I almost exclusively, unless I'm making a video or playing combined arms, fly in VR for flight simming. It's just too good, too close to the real thing to switch. So let's go through the sim controls. Most of you guys are probably DCS fans. We'll start with the bottom, work our way up. These need upgrading. It's the old CH Pro pedals, but you know what? They've always worked really well. Crazy story on those is last go over in Afghanistan, some guy sold me those for like $5. He was on Kandahar Airfield when I was getting ready to go home. And we were talking about aviation. I was talking about how stoked I was to fly flight sims when I got home. And he's like, hey, I've been flying flight sims on base for months now. You want some of my shit? Because I'm about to go home. So I bought them. And I mailed them home. And to this day, Afghanistan dust still comes out of that shit. So adds to the immersion, I guess, when I'm flying a combat jet. We've got a Thrustmaster Warthog base. This has had some stuff done to it, so it's extended twice. I can't remember how long these extensions are, like maybe 30 centimeters. I don't know. And I'm using a Virpil Pack FA grip. What's cool is I really have very close to what I would think is a real world throw for the stick movement. And I'm telling you guys, aside from VR, an extension to the flight stick has been the biggest fundamental change in my pit as far as how the aircraft handle and rotary wing. Highly recommend it. We've got our Thrustmaster MFDs left and right. Keyboard here if I need it. I got to show you guys the mouse because it's unique and this may inspire some of you VR users. Or I don't know, inspire may not be the word. But anyways, it is a trackball with just some Velcro, right? But it works like a kneeboard. Put it on your knee and then you have a mouse at your fingertips, as it were, at all times, even with the hood on. This is transferable between both pits. I've been using it in the flying pit, but it's actually intended for the racing pit. It's a push button, push start, and then a bunch of covered switches. Now, since I fly Rio a lot in the Tomcat, that is an awesome missile launch button. And what I love about this panel is it's made really kind of with VR users in mind. See how spaced out everything is? So super easy to find controls under the hood, as it were. Good old Thrustmaster Warthog throttle. Man, this poor girl's been through it. It's still hanging in there, 6-7 years old. Hell of a piece of flight sim equipment. It's really held up. The stick is the same age. So we've got an audio setup, kind of like the racing pit. This is a soundbar and then a subwoofer down here. Now, what I like doing for immersion is the aircraft sound comes through those loudly, like enough to make you feel the pit move. And we've upgraded that aspect too. We'll get to that in a second. To add to the immersion, I fly with my David Clark headset that I use for real world flying. And that actually connects through the real world connectors into this connection. This goes into my computer, and it allows me to use my real headset, real aviation headset that is, to use radios, SRS, hear the radio chatter through DCS now that they added the way to change your radio input, your audio source. And Pilot USA makes these. I don't remember how much they are. It's awesome. Lets you plug in. Actually, I have two for Pilot and Rio. And yeah, you can use it for SRS and all kinds of stuff. I guess the last point with audio is we just added, it's going to be hard to see, there's a butt kicker in there, right? The butt kicker really kind of pushed things over the edge. Now this is a temporary mounting. I'm going to put a shelf up for it. But these things are audio transducers. So along with the subwoofer and the realistic volume of sound that's so loud I actually need the hearing protection qualities of my David Clark's. Yeah, the wife loves that, let me tell you. But anyways, it's so loud that I need that. Now the butt kicker really adds a lot more of that low end into the cockpit. So when I hit the ground, you know, I'll feel the shock in my seat. It's awesome. So trying to think of anything I missed on these sim pits. This one, kind of a gee whiz thing, but it folds down, and then I can just use it as a keyboard desk and roll it in my chair. Use the Rift S. Rift S. Man, I love the original Rift. I've had a little bit of a headache with the Rift S here and there with the software and that inside-out tracking, but I still think the Rift S is probably one of the best HMDs on the market, and the Oculus software has always been really good. With the side-by-side setup, I do Pilot Rio stuff, or that's my intention anyways. I did kind of a LAN party last week with one of my buddies. We had a great time at the Tomcat. And then looking over here to the left, it's messy. Guns. A couple other computers. Man, there's like 4 computers in here. And this is still work in progress, so don't look over there. And this is kind of my standing VR space. So, pretty good amount. I can fold the seats down and have a nice amount of room to use VR. And then if you care about VR stuff, that's the ProTube VR accessory. Awesome. Definitely give that thing high marks. And that pretty much brings you guys up to speed on my pit. Hardware's still a 1080 Ti. Got a i7 processor. So getting to be due for an upgrade, but still really rips through everything. except TCS. We need optimization there. But definitely buying a 3000 series card when I can. So, all right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the tour of Hook's Pit and Hook's Hangar here. And in closing, just remember, altitude, airspeed, brains, you need 2 of the 3 to survive. All right, guys, Hook out. Thanks.